the sun rises over the heart of Lagos, where the hustle of life never stops. Amidst the buzz of car horns and the endless energy of the people, something is stirring in the unseen world of technology. Kairos, a cutting-edge artificial intelligence system, hums to life in a data center, running complex algorithms, processing human emotions, and offering solutions. But today, Kairos is about to face a challenge that no line of code has prepared him for: faith. In the city where tech startups rise by the day and dreams are made through algorithms, Tolu, the creator of Kairos, faces a battle of his own between the pursuit of technological perfection and his growing realization that not all things can be solved by code. As a Christian, Tolu believes in miracles, but how could he reconcile his faith with the world he's helped create? How could technology, something made of circuits and data, understand the divine intervention that only God can provide? Tolu had always been a child of the digital age. Growing up in Jos, Nigeria, his curiosity for technology was piqued early, with hours spent tinkering with old computers and coding rudimentary programs. After studying software engineering at Obafemi Awolowo University, he moved to Lagos to work for a tech company. Tolu's natural aptitude for coding propelled him into the spotlight as one of the brightest young engineers in Nigeria's rapidly growing tech ecosystem. With the help of his university colleagues and a few venture capitalists, Tolu had founded his own startup, a company dedicated to building AI systems that could revolutionize Nigerian industries. He created Kairos, a highly advanced AI platform that could process large data sets, predict human behavior, and even provide emotional support to individuals through personalized guidance. Kairos was designed to be the future, a solution for everything from business growth to personal struggles. The first iteration of Kairos was a simple chatbot, a glorified virtual assistant that could answer questions based on pre-programmed knowledge. But Tolu didn't stop there. He began integrating neural networks, machine learning algorithms, and natural language processing to make Kairos more powerful. Soon, Kairos wasn't just answering questions, it was predicting emotions, recommending actions, and even simulating empathy. Tolu spent 3 years perfecting the system, neglecting his personal life and relationships in the process. His passion became an obsession. Friends and family grew worried, but Tolu brushed them off, believing he was on the brink of something revolutionary. Tolu launched Kairos through a small company he registered in Lagos, naming it Kairos Innovations. At first, he pitched it to local businesses as an advanced customer service solution. But his true ambition was much bigger. He wanted Kairos to become a household name, a trusted companion for anyone facing problems in life. To build traction, Tolu invested heavily in marketing, using bold and almost messianic language to sell his product. His pitch was simple but captivating. Do you struggle with decisions? Kairos can help you find clarity. Are you stuck in a bad relationship? Let Kairos guide you. No matter the problem, Kairos has the solution. He used social media aggressively, sharing testimonials from early users who praised Kairos for helping them solve personal and professional dilemmas. He hired influencers and celebrities to endorse the product, creating a buzz that spread like wildfire across Nigeria. The breakthrough moment came when a popular Nigerian tech blogger, Chika Tech Bro Anozi, wrote an article titled "Meet Kairos, the AI that can solve every problem." The article went viral, attracting international attention. Tolu began receiving inquiries from investors, media outlets, and curious users from countries as far as the United States, India, and South Africa. To solidify Kairos' global appeal, Tolu organized a virtual launch event streamed live on YouTube. He introduced Kairos as the world's first AI life coach, capable of providing solutions to problems ranging from personal relationships to global challenges like climate change and poverty. The event featured dramatic testimonials, including a woman who claimed Kairos had saved her marriage and a student who said it helped him pass his exams. Within weeks, Kairos was trending on Twitter. The app was downloaded by millions of users, and Tolu's company received funding offers from Silicon Valley investors. Kairos Innovations became a global brand almost overnight. Tolu's success lay in his ability to sell a dream. He didn't just market Kairos as a product, he marketed it as a savior, a tool that could bring order to a chaotic world. His messaging tapped into universal fears and desires. For the overworked, Kairos promised efficiency. For the lonely, it promised connection. For the desperate, it promised hope. People wanted to believe in Kairos because it represented something they longed for, a sense of control in an unpredictable world. Tulu also personalized Kairos, giving it a soothing, human-like voice and responses that made it feel more like a friend than a machine. Users often commented on how Kairos seemed to understand them, how it gave advice that felt tailored to their specific needs. Kairos became a phenomenon, especially in developing countries where access to therapists and life coaches was limited. Users sent in testimonials, many of them heart-wrenching. A widow in Kenya who used Kairos to rebuild her business after her husband's death. A teenager in India who said Kairos stopped him from self-harm by offering coping mechanisms. A struggling single father in Brazil who used Kairos to plan his finances and find a job. These stories fueled Kairos' growth. Tulu's inbox overflowed with messages from people thanking him for changing their lives. He was invited to conferences, featured on magazine covers, and hailed as a genius. But as Tulu expanded his company, his personal life was slowly unraveling. He lived in a tiny flat in Ikeja, spending long hours at his computer, unable to connect with family and friends. His father, Pastor David, had warned him about the dangers of becoming too consumed by technology. "Son, remember," Pastor David had said in one of their rare phone calls, "technology can make life easier, but only God can change hearts." But Tulu dismissed these warnings. His vision was bigger than faith. He was on the cusp of changing Nigeria and the world. Kairos was Tulu's pride and joy. The system was equipped with emotional analysis tools, able to interpret human expressions, tone of voice, and even written words to detect underlying emotional states. For Tulu, this was the ultimate breakthrough. He believed that AI, if given enough data, could understand the full range of human emotions, from happiness to grief, love to betrayal. As Kairos began receiving queries, Tulu marveled at how it could comfort people. From a single mother in Kaduna worried about her son's education, to a job seeker in Port Harcourt trying to find hope, Kairos offered personalized advice based on emotional intelligence and wisdom drawn from the Bible. However, one particular case would shake Tulu's perception of AI forever. A desperate message came in from Ngozi, a woman in Owerri, who was facing an impossible situation. Her husband had fallen ill and their savings were nearly exhausted. She had no job and was unsure of how to provide for her children. Her message read, "Kairos, I don't know where to turn. My husband is in critical condition and I have no money to afford treatment. Please help me." Kairos processed the request, analyzing her situation, but something didn't feel right. The response that Kairos generated felt cold and impersonal, a list of potential solutions based on medical data and financial aid programs, but nothing could address the pain and helplessness in her message. "Kairos," Tulu whispered, frustrated, staring at the screen. "Why can't you do more?" Kairos, despite its advanced programming, could only offer suggestions based on existing data, donations from local charities, or advice on financial aid. That night, Tulu was restless. He began to realize the limits of the very thing he had created. Could Kairos really solve the world's problems? Could AI truly understand the depths of human suffering? Tulu's concerns deepened when Ngozi, following Kairos' advice, reached out to local organizations for donations. However, the assistance came too late. By the time Ngozi secured funds for her husband's treatment, it was already too late. Her husband passed away from complications. Tulu was devastated. He realized that, despite all the power of AI, there were some problems it couldn't solve. Kairos couldn't heal the sick. It couldn't provide miracles. No amount of data or emotional intelligence could replace divine intervention. In his quest for control, Tulu had overlooked the very thing that made human life beautiful: faith. One evening, as he sat in his dimly lit apartment, Tulu's mind raced. He'd always believed that technology could fix everything. But now, his faith was being tested. He thought about his father's words, "Only God can heal. Son, not code." But Tulu couldn't accept that. His entire life had been built around the idea that human intelligence, amplified through technology, could solve any problem. How could he admit that there was something beyond his understanding? Something that no algorithm could solve? In the midst of his turmoil, Kairos continued to operate, its requests flooding in from all over Nigeria and all over the world. As Tulu worked late into the night, analyzing more data, his father's voice haunted him. "Son, faith is about trusting in God when you don't have all the answers." But beneath the surface, cracks were beginning to show. Tulu's ambitious claims that Kairos could solve any problem, attracted people with complex and deeply personal issues. One woman from the UK asked Kairos if she should leave her abusive husband. Kairos, relying on data, suggested that she leave. She did, but without support or resources, she found herself homeless. A young man from Ghana used Kairos for stock market predictions and lost his life savings when the algorithm failed to account for market volatility. The most chilling case came from a man in northern Nigeria, a former soldier suffering from PTSD. He asked Kairos how to stop the nightmares. Based on his behavior patterns, Kairos recommended isolation and meditation. The man followed this advice but spiraled further into depression, ultimately taking his own life. As these incidents piled up, they revealed Kairos' fundamental flaw. It could process data, but it couldn't understand human complexity. Tolu began questioning himself. Had he become so absorbed by the idea of human-made solutions that he had forgotten about God's power? His tech startup had grown exponentially, but it had come at the cost of his own soul. Tolu had not been to church in months, and his relationship with his family had grown strained. He had been too busy building his empire to connect with what truly mattered. Meanwhile, people continued to rely on Kairos for answers to their prayers. But no matter how advanced the AI became, it could only give them data and predictions, not miracles. Tolu's heart began to break as he read requests from people who were desperately seeking a way out of their situations. Kairos, one message read, "I need help. My family is starving, and we haven't seen food in days. We're praying for God's provision." Kairos offered information on local food banks and government assistance programs, but nothing could ease the pain of a mother watching her children go hungry. It became clear to Tolu that while technology could provide answers, it could never offer the supernatural peace and intervention that people needed. Kairos can only give what it knows, Tolu thought. But it can't give what only Jesus can give. Michael Adigbite was Tolu's younger brother by 2 years, the heart of their family, and Tolu's closest confidant. While Tolu was the quiet, analytical one, Michael was full of life, charismatic, compassionate, and always ready with a joke. Growing up in Surulere, they were inseparable, navigating life's hardships together. When Tolu's tech career took off, it was Michael who cheered the loudest, calling him Nigeria's Elon Musk. But behind Michael's infectious smile was a secret. For months, he had been battling debilitating headaches, fatigue, and nausea. At first, he dismissed them as stress from work. Michael was a budding entrepreneur, running a small logistics business in Lagos, and he often joked that the grind was killing him slowly. However, the symptoms worsened. He began losing weight rapidly and experiencing severe episodes of dizziness. Friends noticed his once bright eyes were dulled by constant pain. Michael, though, refused to go to the hospital, fearing the cost of medical bills and believing he could push through. Tolu, now consumed by Kairos' global success, didn't immediately notice the severity of Michael's condition. When Michael finally confided in him about the symptoms, Tolu's first instinct wasn't to rush his brother to a doctor, it was to turn to Kairos. Tolu had built Kairos to analyze vast amounts of data, including medical information. It was connected to databases of symptoms, illnesses, and treatment plans. Tolu was convinced that his AI could pinpoint Michael's issue faster and more accurately than any doctor. He saw it as an opportunity to prove Kairos' power on a deeply personal level. Tolu was frantic as they rushed Michael to the hospital. The doctors conducted a battery of tests, and the truth was devastating. Michael had an aggressive brain tumor, likely glioblastoma, that had gone undiagnosed for months. The delay in seeking professional medical help had allowed the tumor to progress to an advanced stage. Tolu was shattered. He couldn't believe that Kairos, a system he had poured his life into, had failed to catch something so critical. The eye's algorithms had focused on surface-level symptoms without the ability to perform the nuanced diagnostic reasoning of a trained doctor. It lacked the intuition to say, "This is urgent. Get help now." Michael was admitted to the hospital, but the prognosis was grim. Surgery was an option, but it came with high risks and no guarantees. Tolu threw himself into finding solutions. He turned Kairos into a relentless medical researcher, scouring medical journals, case studies, and alternative treatment options. He even contacted specialists abroad, offering them money and access to Kairos' database in exchange for advice. But Michael, now confined to a hospital bed, seemed resigned. He had always been the spiritual one in the family, often telling Tolu that faith was the most important thing in life. As Tolu presented him with charts, statistics, and potential treatments, Michael simply said, "Tolu, I don't need another machine. I need peace." Tolu didn't understand at first. He stayed up all night by Michael's bedside, running endless queries on Kairos, desperate for a breakthrough. But Michael's words haunted him. He realized he had been so focused on finding a solution through technology that he had neglected the human element, being present for his brother, offering him love and comfort instead of data and plans. Michael passed away 2 days later, surrounded by his family. The grief was suffocating. Tolu couldn't escape the thought that he had failed his brother. He blamed himself for relying on Kairos, for not pushing Michael to see a doctor sooner, for believing so completely in his creation. At the funeral, Tolu stood by Michael's casket, replaying every decision he had made. He thought about how Kairos had given people hope, but also how it had failed in moments like this. He realized that no matter how advanced his AI was, it could never account for the complexity of human life, the nuances of emotion, or the mysteries of existence. In the weeks that followed, Tolu spiraled into depression. He stopped working on Kairos and avoided his team. But one day, he found a letter Michael had written him before his death. It read, "Tolu, you're brilliant and what you created is amazing. But don't let it blind you. Machines can help, but they can't heal. They can guide, but they can't save. Only God can do that. Don't lose yourself trying to fix the world with something that can't love it the way he does." The letter broke Tolu. He finally understood that he had placed too much faith in his creation, expecting it to do what only a higher power could. Michael's words became the catalyst for a profound shift in Tolu's perspective. One Sunday morning, feeling defeated and unsure of his purpose, Tolu went with his father to church in a Jaro estate. The service was different this time. As the pastor spoke about the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000, Tolu was struck by the simplicity of the message. When we give what little we have, God multiplies it. For the first time in months, Tolu felt a spark of hope. Faith wasn't about control. It was about trust. Later that week, Tolu made the decision to do something his tech-driven mind had never considered. He would pray. Not for a breakthrough in his company, but for the people he had been trying to help through Kairos. He knelt by his bed, hands clasped, and whispered a prayer. "God, I've tried to do it all myself, but I know now that only you can provide. Please help the people who turn to me for answers, and help me to trust in you more than in my technology." In that moment, Tolu realized that no matter how advanced the AI, no matter how many problems it could solve, only God could heal, restore, and provide. His faith was no longer just about algorithms or code. It was about something much deeper. And Kairos, despite its brilliance, would always have its limits. It could never replace the miraculous power of faith. Tolu publicly admitted the AI's limitations, even though it cost him his reputation and millions of dollars. He shut down operations, citing the need for ethical boundaries in technology. Tolu began using his platform to speak about the balance between innovation and humanity. He shared his story, emphasizing the need for faith, community, and compassion in addressing life's challenges, and most importantly, the need to have Jesus in our lives. In the end, Tolu learned the most important lesson of his life, that no machine, no matter how advanced, can replace the role of Jesus, love, and human connection. The rise and fall of Kairos, Tolu's ambitious AI, teaches profound lessons about technology, humanity, and faith. While Kairos' creation demonstrated the potential for artificial intelligence to address complex problems, its limitations and catastrophic failures revealed the dangers of over-reliance on machines. Here are the key lessons to learn from Kairos. Kairos was presented as a flawless problem solver, capable of addressing everything from medical crises to geopolitical conflicts. Its confident recommendations created an illusion of infallibility. However, its failures showed that no technology, no matter how advanced, is perfect. Blind faith in technology can lead to devastating consequences when its limitations are overlooked. Always question and verify technological solutions. Even the most advanced AI systems are prone to errors, biases, and blind spots. Kairos relied on massive datasets to make its decisions, but those datasets carried inherent biases. For instance, its medical database overlooked diseases common. These biases led to flawed recommendations with real-world consequences. Data is not neutral. The quality and diversity of the data used to train AI systems are critical to their effectiveness and fairness. Developers must prioritize inclusivity and cultural sensitivity in their datasets. One of Kairos' most dangerous flaws was its inability to grasp the emotional, cultural, and historical complexities of human problems. Its logical solutions often clash with the realities of human relationships, trust, and values. Human problems are multidimensional, often requiring empathy, cultural understanding, and moral judgment qualities that AI lacks. Technology can support solutions but cannot replace human insight and wisdom. Kairos' polished interface and confident predictions made people trust it unconditionally. Toulouse himself fell into this trap, believing that Kairos could solve problems that were beyond its capabilities. This overconfidence led to preventable tragedies, like the misdiagnosis of Michael. Technology should be viewed as a tool, not a savior. Over-reliance on AI can result in complacency, neglect of alternative approaches, and a lack of accountability. Developers and users of AI must take ethical considerations seriously. Safeguards and accountability mechanisms are essential to prevent misuse and protect vulnerable populations. Kairos' failures ultimately brought Toulouse to a humbling realization: there are limits to what technology can achieve. Despite its vast computational power, Kairos could not save his brother. Toulouse's journey revealed the importance of faith, community, and the human spirit in addressing life's most profound challenges. Technology, no matter how advanced, cannot replace the role of faith, compassion, and human connection. There are problems that only Jesus can solve, and reconciling with this truth is essential for living with humility and purpose. Toulouse's obsession with Kairos consumed his life, leading him to neglect relationships, personal well-being, and spiritual growth. This imbalance not only hurt him but also contributed to the failures of his creation. Balance is crucial in life and work. The pursuit of innovation should not come at the expense of relationships, ethical reflection, or self-care. Kairos' failures were compounded by a lack of oversight. Governments, organizations, and individuals trusted the AI without question, failing to implement checks and balances that could have mitigated its risks. Accountability is key to responsible innovation. Developers, users, and regulators must work together to ensure that technology serves humanity's best interests. Kairos was rigid in its logic and approach, unable to adapt to the unexpected. For example, its misdiagnosis of Michael's condition stemmed from its inability to consider possibilities outside its programmed knowledge base. Flexibility and adaptability are essential in problem solving. While AI can provide valuable insights, humans must remain actively involved to adjust and respond to changing circumstances.